Evaluation, scope, and achievements of functionalist approach. Functionalist approach have several successes to its credit, and it has definitely broadened our horizon of understanding second language learning process. And this is because it has drawn our attention to the fact that language development is driven by pragmatic and communicative needs. That is, second language learners constantly develop their learning of the second language because they need to improvise on their communicative needs. They need to attend to those practical matters facing them. They need the language to facilitate their work or what they want to do, and that is why they learn a second language, and that is why also they develop their second language learning from one stage to the other. In a functionalist approach, the researchers actually use formal resources of language, the formal repertoire of the language, and they elaborate how even the same utterance, like we talked about it before also, something which is very similar in terms of grammar and structure. The difference between a case study and some other research is that the focus of the case study is very limited, but it is more in depth. So the focus is on finding in-depth insights into a given phenomena, rather trying to understand all aspects of the thing. So there are lesser people that might be focused on, or there might be lesser aspects of language that are being focused upon. Mostly the studies that have been conducted in second language have been that of adults in their early stages of second language learning. Nevertheless, despite the limitation of the studies in terms of its focus, the studies which have used the functionalist approach have offered rich insights into the process of language learning, into the process of interlanguage, and how the learners actually try to convey their meaning, and how they, because now as they grow up and they want to give more complex meanings and expressions, how do they use the formal system of the language with more complex sentences? The inquiries or the studies in second language using the functionalist approach are slightly different from each other. They can be seen in two groups mainly. One is a patch approach. A patch approach is that you focus on certain structures within a language, or or the learning of certain aspects of a language, for instance, related to time or space, or certain evolution of specific forms of, for instance, negatives or adjectives, or how do children actually start using adverbs. So you're focusing on small specific patches within the language. And the second thing is that you try to see and try to establish what are those prototypes, which actually all the learners have to learn. And European Science Foundation has done a lot of work in that, and they work from this basic variety that all the second language learners must learn, and they see how the function that language variety has to perform drives or motivates their language development in that areas.